Okay, welcome back. And I do want to give a welcome to any new people. I noticed that number is slowly going up. So I want to welcome everybody, but want to say that also for the new people. Now, another thing, um, I just noticed this when I look back. I don't, and I look back, but it's not always exactly right away. There's sort of a little delay in there. So, anyway, like if somebody left a comment on a video yesterday, I haven't seen it yet. Like I would see it later today. And that's just because of the way I have this set up. And anyway, it works smoother for me this way. So I do it. But I get to these things. It just might be a day or so. But I noticed one of the videos about the Psalms that I did had like 46 views, and the others had like three or what, or less. So I just thought, that seems to be kind of an outlier. I wonder why. And I think that, that's a lot for me, it's a small channel. So I just thought maybe they thought, random people watching thought that it was actual worship music from the Psalms, like praise and worship. And it's just what was written in there that I went over, which is that, just not to music. So that's what I think happened. But I just wanted to mention this. I know I mentioned it before, but I wish I could put that out there. I'm thinking of writing again, like things like this, but I'm just dead in the water when it comes to musical notes. I don't even know musical notes, but I always have to kind of piggyback ride on another sound I know of if I write something just to enjoy for myself. But, well, but so unfortunately, I wish I was able to, but I can't put anything out like that. But I want to recommend if anybody enjoys this kind of thing and you just don't know, you can go on YouTube and go to, in the search box, just type anything like music related. It can be classical music, it can be anything. But if you're like me and you just love worship music, and that's pretty much all I really listen to, then you can type that in the search box, and you'll get that. But the only problem now is that it's pretty much all going to be, it's a very narrow box that they're using to put stuff from. It's the same groups, it's the same churches, the same musicians. It's just very limited, and it's not real good. I'm not saying it's all bad, but it's not real good. So, what I like to do is I type in things because I know a lot of songs from before, like 15, 13, 10 years ago, and I'll type that in and that'll pop up. So if you type something in along the lines of like, Holy is the Lord, or Holy, 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 or Revelation song, there's one, it's called Agnus Dei, which means worthy is the Lamb in Latin, and that's what it means. But you type that in, and even if you don't spell it right, it'll bring something up. So you'll find it. It's Agnus and then EI, if I remember right, but could be ES, but I think it's US. So, anyway, type something like that in, and you should get some nice songs that are, biblically appropriate and that kind of thing. So, I just recommend that if you're looking for that. I mean, YouTube is just a great resource. If you can tap into the older songs, it's a great resource for that, and it's unlimited and it's free. I mean, you can pick your songs and listen all day if you want, and you can set up your little lineup if you want to do that. And if you have a home church, that's a great resource too. So anyway, I just wanted to mention that. But now, for this thing, some call it the Song of Songs, and sometimes it's called the Song of Solomon. Now, I'll first have to do a little introduction on this, and then I'll jump in. It only has 8 chapters, and it wouldn't take too long. I mean, I'll get it done today for sure. Might be probably just one longer video, or 2 shorter ones, but we'll see. So now, the thing about it, and I have to say this, I mean, there are different things going on here. The first thing is it's symbolic, okay? It's symbolic, and the main meaning of it is spiritual. It's spiritual, and it technically, and I'm not the only one saying this, okay? I noticed it before hearing anything anywhere. Then I heard this from other places that this is what is said. It's commonplace that this is symbolic, of Jesus and the bride, which is the church. Okay, so it's symbolic of that. You could call it love story in a way. So it's all spiritual, of course, but it's just very beautiful. I mean, the language is just lovely, and there's so many words that it's hard to describe it if you see it in the right way. You know what I mean? If you have this kind of a heart for God, it's just something so beautiful. But so there's that. So when I read it, that's going to be the focus, of course. It's very romantic. It's just desperately romantic in a beautiful way. And I mean, the thing is, also, it's all pure. It's 100% pure, and everything. You couldn't say anything about it isn't holy. So there's that. So keep that in mind, because that's the focus. But at the same time, there's another element to it that's very sensual. Okay, so it's romantic and it's very sensual. So I have to, when I put this video out, or however many there are going to be, either 1 or 2, I'm going to put a disclaimer in the title, like, this is not for children, okay? There's nothing in it that's, not good, if you know what I mean. But it still shouldn't be, it's not for children, because they're too young. They wouldn't understand, and it's just not a good idea. And so there's that aspect of it. I just want to mention that, and I'm just assuming we're all adults here. But just in case, you have a child visiting and you have this on, I just want to put that out there now, so you listen to this at another time. Yeah, so there's that. And then the other thing is, if you're the type that is easily aroused, let's say, this also is something that, keep in mind with caution. That way, maybe just try to look at it in a way that's detached or something like that. I'm older, I'm fine, but I've been around the block, it's all old stuff to me. But I just want to say that if you're younger and there's situations, so I just want to mention that as a word of caution. So I just want to say all that. Now, about that part of it, it does discuss the woman's body and different acts of lovemaking. So I'll read it all. It's short, and there are things I have to explain. So I'm going to go over it all. But um, you know, it has to be looked at through the lens that this is what God made. Okay, there's nothing dirty about it. There's nothing vile about it. There's nothing wrong with it in any way. Sex is something God made, but it's to be used in the context He made it for, which we know biblically what that is. Okay, so there's that. But um, unfortunately, society has ruined this. The devil has ruined this, so that everything is looked at as something vile and dirty and unclean and impure, to the point that there are even Christians out there who don't feel comfortable enjoying these things when they're married, because it's been made to look dirty. Okay, and they want to be holy, so they think, well, we can't do this and we can't do that, and that's just wrong. I mean, if God made it and it's in here, you'll see that it's perfectly fine in the right context. It's between a married man and woman, and whether you're Christians or not, you're married. And man and woman, that's it. Married. So that's the proper context for this. So, anyway, these things were made to be enjoyed in that context, and they were made by God. So there's nothing wrong with it or dirty about it, okay? So I just want to say that as another little thing, put that out there before I get started. So, okay, I think I've covered it all. And there is a lot of symbolism about, seriously, like Jesus. Yeah. So I'll explain all that as I go along. That's why I have to go over everything. And many people miss this because it's a little hidden. But if you know your stuff, you know. So, okay, all that introduction is out of the way. And now I'll move all these little romantic things. These are good perfumes, by the way. They really smell good. Okay. Put this back here. Here, so Song of Solomon. Okay. Now, chapter 1. It starts out the Song of Songs, which is Solomon's. And here it's the banquet. So, and here we have characters. So it's almost like reading a play script in a way. This would make a great play, actually. If they wear wonderful costumes too, this would be great. So the Shulamite is the name here for the woman, in this case, the bride. And then the beloved is the name for the groom. Okay, and there are others here that come and go. So I'll explain as we go. So we have the Shulamite. Let him kiss me with the kisses of his mouth. For your love is better than wine. Because of the fragrance of your good ointments, your name is ointment poured forth. Therefore, the virgins love you. Draw me away. So already here, you see the romance here, the love and the romantic aspect of this. And, we have this fragrance thing, which is another one. Spiritually, the fragrance is there, that kind of thing. Now we have the daughters of Jerusalem. So this is a separate group. We will run after you. So, anyway, the Shulamite. The king has brought me into his chambers. So she's talking about Solomon. So I should explain that too. But this is the beloved, okay? So he wrote it, Solomon, and I'm sure it had to do with him and, his wife. And I know he ended up getting many wives. In fact, he got like 1,000 wives, including concubines, I think. So anyway, this was probably about one of them. So that's how it came to be. But you know how God uses these things in an inspired way. So you'll see. But anyway, so she is talking about him who is the beloved in this case. So, and he's a king. So it all works out. Okay. So the daughters of Jerusalem, we will be glad and rejoice in you. We will remember your love more than wine. So this group is rejoicing, they're celebrating their love between this couple. And, that's what it is. And the Shulamite, rightly do they love you. And here, I am dark but lovely, O daughters of Jerusalem, like the tents of Kedar, like the curtains of Solomon. Do not look upon me because I am dark, because the sun has tanned me. My mother's sons were angry with me. They made me the keeper of the vineyards, but my own vineyard I have not kept. So here she explains she got kind of a suntan from being outside. She's laboring outside. It's interesting here. The keeper of the vineyard, who is the keeper of the vineyard today, right? So that's subtly in there. If you've been watching these videos for a while, you'll know exactly what I mean. And then the dark also, I think, kind of speaks a little bit about the Gentile bride issue, So that's just my speculation here. That comes into play. And then this about the mother's sons were angry. I don't know where that is, but anyway. So we have all that. Okay, tell me, O you whom I love, where you feed your flock, where you make it rest at noon. For why should I be as one who veils herself by the flocks of your companions? So here he's a king. We got that part. He's also a shepherd. Ooh, right? And he has a flock. Well, who's the flock today, right? So she's looking for the flock. Like, where's the flock? I can't find the flock, So she wants to be there instead of where she is. And okay, companions, I don't know, could be a lot of things, but she would veil herself around them because she doesn't, back then they did this, the women really veiled themselves to cover themselves. They didn't want somebody else to be attracted to them. She's spoken for here. She doesn't want somebody else to be attracted to her and there would be a problem of some sort. So that's what she's saying here. Like, instead of being over there and having to veil myself all like this, I can be with your flock, So there's this. And flock, again, we're the flock. So there's that. The beloved. So this is him answering. If you do not know, O fairest among women, follow in the footsteps of the flock and feed your little goats beside the shepherd's tents. I have compared you, my love, to my filly among Pharaoh's chariots. Your cheeks are lovely with ornaments, your neck with chains of gold. Okay, so here he's, saying these things to her, and the fairest among women. Okay, so that's the identity we have if we're walking in this. And it's not physical. Again, it's spiritual. This is spiritual beauty. Okay, it has nothing to do with the skin, it's just spiritual beauty. Okay, so anyway, then there's all this, how beautiful she is. And here we have the daughters of Jerusalem. We will make you ornaments of gold with studs of silver. So they're kind of, like the little helpers here. And then we're back to her. While the king is at his table, my spikenard sends forth its fragrance. A bundle of myrrh is my beloved to me, that lies all night between my breasts. My beloved is to me a cluster of henna blooms in the vineyards of En Gedi. So we just see romantic language here, their desire for one another, Behold, and this is him, behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes. I'll explain that dove's thing in a minute. Okay, let me just finish this. Now it's her again. Behold, you are handsome, my beloved. Yes, pleasant. Also, our bed is green. I don't know if that symbolizes something, but it might. Okay, now let me do this. A lot of people don't understand this dove's eyes thing. So it's kind of like, I'm going to try to draw a dove here. I'm going to move the camera in a minute. I'm just trying to do this first. Wait, let me move this here. Okay. Now, wait. Oh. Do it this way. Okay, so I'll make this smaller in a minute. Here we have a dove, kind of, and a wing, I'm trying to get that in the right spot. And there would be an eye, there'd be feet, but if a dove would be sitting on a branch, and sometimes, they put their head down and they put their ending tail up, and this could even be longer back here. Could be longer. What it really is just kind of the idea of eyelashes, like closed eyes and eyelashes, and they kind of have that shape, see? And it's sort of like a image of shyness and beauty and alluring, that kind of thing. So she might peek out a little bit, like here's, somehow she's peeking out a little. It's very, alluring. So that's more what that is. I mean, it's not the eye of a dove, because that is perfectly round and there's nothing really exotic or interesting about it otherwise. So that's the deal here. So you have to picture this when this term comes up. Okay. Now, moving along here, The beams of our houses are cedar and our rafters of fir. So it's more the nest concept here. And then she goes on, I am the rose of Sharon and the lily of the valleys. And some people say this would apply to him, and here it looks more like it's still her talking. Either way, it's lovely either way, right? So, and I think it applies both ways. So now he comes, see, now he comes in here and he answers that. So it would be that. Okay, like a lily among thorns, so is my love among the daughters. So, like, he's comparing her to a lily among thorns. Like, many of the other daughters are just like this, right? And she's like that, is what's being said. So, the Shulamite, like an apple tree among the trees of the woods, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down in his shade with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. So it's sort of a comparable compliment. All right, the Shulamite to the daughters of Jerusalem. So now she speaks to them. He brought me to the banqueting house, and his banner over me was love. Sustain me with cakes of raisins, refresh me with apples, for I am lovesick. So here, this sort of makes me think of the wedding feast thing, the banqueting house, and the love, Here, this is like when you're really lovesick. You do really feel kind of faintish, and your stomach does funny things. So it's kind of like she wants some food to sustain her so she wouldn't faint. Okay, his left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. So you have to imagine this. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. So it's, I don't know, what I see in this is just kind of the right timing of things. You can't push it, you can't force it too soon. You can't force a flower to bloom before its time. So that's what I see in this. Now, she continues here. The voice of my beloved, behold, he comes leaping upon the mountains, skipping upon the hills. My beloved is like a gazelle or a young stag. Behold, he stands behind our wall. He is looking through the windows, gazing through the lattice. And there's one part later that this comes up again, and it seems sort of like the concept of a return, and you'll see when we get there. The lattice, when I first read this, I thought this was like lace drapes, those lace curtains that hang on a window, but it is more something they have over there, where they have small slabs of wood and they put them over each other in sort of a diagonal way, this way and that way, and it makes openings in the middle. So it's the same idea, but it's just skinny wood. And they did that kind of a net idea. And there are different things it could apply to. But anyway, the point is he's looking through, like he's looking for her, My beloved spoke and said to me, rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. For lo, the winter is past, the rain is over and gone. The flowers appear on the earth. The time of singing has come, and the voice of the turtle dove is heard in our land. So it's like spring has sprung. The birds are singing and the flowers are blooming. That's what's happening here. The fig tree puts forth her green figs, and the vines with the tender grapes give a good smell. Rise up, my love, my fair one, and come away. So he's just calling her to come with him, and here fig trees are symbolic in there, vines, vineyards are symbolic in there. So, oh my dove, in the clefts of the rock, in the secret places of the cliff, let me see your face, let me hear your voice, for your voice is sweet and your face is lovely. So, this could be singing worship songs, it could be praying, but hearing the voice is what's asked for, and seeing the face. Catch us the foxes, the little foxes that spoil the vines, for our vines have tender grapes. And there was another place somewhere, I don't know, but I ran into it where it seems like maybe it was this, but the concept of, ruining the vineyard. And I think what happens, this is my thinking totally, I don't know, but this is what I related to. When you're flowing with the Holy Spirit and everything just seems to flow so smoothly and wonderfully, and then you're going about your day, and everything's wonderful in that way. And then maybe somewhere later on along the way, you run into a situation, and it could be a person that's just thorny, let's just say. It could be a person, it could be a situation, and it's just like your whole mood is just shot, right? And that's kind of what I think of here. And it takes a little while again. It could be an hour, it could be 3 hours, it could be that night, it could be the next day to get back in that flow, So that's what I relate this to, the little foxes that spoil the vines, and the tender grapes. It's a very delicate thing. Okay, back to her. My beloved is mine, and I am his. He feeds his flock among the lilies until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. Turn, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag upon the mountains of Bether. So I think this is again a call to return. And that comes up again. Okay, 3. Here we go. It's her. By night on my bed I sought the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. I will rise now, I said, and go about the city. In the streets and in the squares I will seek the one I love. I sought him, but I did not find him. The watchmen who go about the city found me. I said, have you seen the one I love? Scarcely had I passed by them when I found the one I love. I held him and would not let him go, until I had brought him to the house of my mother and into the chamber of her who conceived me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, by the gazelles or by the does of the field, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. Okay, and here she goes on. Who is this coming out of the wilderness, like pillars of smoke, perfumed with myrrh and frankincense, with all the merchants' fragrant powders? Behold, it is Solomon's couch, with 60 valiant men around it, or the valiant of Israel. They all hold swords, being expert in war. Every man has his sword on his thigh because of fear in the night. So, what do we see in this? This is the return. When Jesus returns, and we have this again, coming out of the wilderness, we have pillars of smoke, we have these things, we have ready for war, all that. This couch thing is, and this comes up again later. I'm going to get to it when it comes up. It's almost here. Hold on. Of the wood of Lebanon, Solomon the king made himself a palanquin. And if you look down here, it says a portable enclosed chair. So what all this is you may have seen this in pictures of ancient times. It was like a throne that was portable, and it had a covering over it to shelter it, and it was probably carried by, footmen of some kind, and then, the army around it. So that's the idea there, this couch thing and this palanquin. So that's what it is. He made its pillars of silver, its support of gold, its seat of purple, its interior paved with love by the daughters of Jerusalem. Go forth, O daughters of Zion, and see King Solomon with the crown, with which his mother crowned him on the day of his wedding, the day of the gladness of his heart. So this, again, is symbolic. Here he's symbolic for the Messiah. And he has a crown on his head. And isn't this interesting? With which his mother crowned him, right? I mean, on the day of his wedding. So this is like the wedding feast. Like that's one of the things apparently that will happen. And I don't know about you, but I just cherish these things so much. I mean, just the thought of all this. And that she would get this wonderful honor of doing this is so lovely. I mean, after everything I know she had been through at that time, right? So then comes all the glory and the reward. That's just how this goes. Okay, now it gets really interesting. Okay, the bridegroom praises the bride, so the beloved, so that's him. Chapter 4. Behold, you are fair, my love. Behold, you are fair. You have dove's eyes behind your veil. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Mount Gilead. So in that way, you just have to picture like a flock of goats, like they would run down a hill and slowly descend. So you just have to picture, like the hair is just falling down long and, thick. That's the visual there. Your teeth are like a flock of shorn sheep, which have come up from the washing, every one of which bears twins, and none is barren among them. So it's just interesting language, what they would focus on. But anyway, your lips are like a strand of scarlet, and your mouth is lovely. Your temples behind your veil are like a piece of pomegranate. Your neck is like the Tower of David built for an armory, on which hang 1,000 bucklers, all shields of mighty men. Here we go. Your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle, which feed among the lilies until the day breaks and the shadows flee away. I will go my way to the mountain of myrrh and to the hill of frankincense. You are fair, my love, and there is no spot in you. So here we have the idea, here the concept of, you know, the bride is a spotless bride. And it says this in many places, without blemish, like spotless, and a virgin bride. So all the symbolism, Now, come with me from Lebanon, my spouse, with me from Lebanon. Look from the top of Amana, from the top of Senir and Hermon. These are hills. From the lion's dens, from the mountains of the leopards. You have ravished my heart, my sister, my spouse. I'll explain that. You have ravished my heart with one look of your eyes, with one link of your necklace. How fair is your love, my sister, my spouse. How much better than wine is your love, and the scent of your perfumes than all spices. Your lips, O my spouse, drip as the honeycomb. Honey and milk are under your tongue, and the fragrance of your garments is like the fragrance of Lebanon. Okay, now the sister bride thing here, don't worry. Again, it's symbolic. So in that case, it's okay. You have to picture this, okay? You have Israel back then, that Israel. And the Messiah came through Israel. So in that sense, Israel is like, in a sense, okay, the mother, the cradle, the birth, the civilization, cradle, the birthplace, So you have that as the mother. And then out of all of that, Jesus included, you get the bride. And we're the brethren, but we're also the bride. See? So that's why this thing, it's symbolic, it's spiritual, it works out okay in that way. So that's how that works. Like we're a daughter, the church is a daughter in a sense that way, and all that. So it's nothing weird. Okay, so now we get this part. A garden enclosed is my sister, my spouse. A spring shut up, a fountain sealed. So what's that? Okay, spring and a fountain are water, and they're like enclosed inside of us because we have the living water flowing inside of us. Our body is the temple of the Holy Spirit. So we have all that in here. Your plants are an orchard of pomegranates. Pomegranates with pleasant fruits, fragrant henna with spikenard and saffron, calamus and cinnamon, with all trees of frankincense, myrrh and aloes, with all the chief spices. Okay, so they were really into smells, apparently. A fountain of gardens, a well of living waters, and streams from Lebanon. So, we get that again, a well of living waters, a fountain of gardens. So, living waters, a well of living waters, a fountain, gardens, fruits, flowers, it's just all this poetic language. I mean, the whole thing. Streams, there's more water. The whole thing is poetic language that describes this relationship. It's spiritual, but that's how it's put forth. So, okay. Awake, O north wind, and come, O south, blow upon my garden, that its spices may flow out. Let my beloved come to his garden and eat its pleasant fruits. Okay, so chapter 5. So this is her. Now he answers the beloved, I have come to my garden, my sister, my spouse. I have gathered my myrrh with my spice. I have eaten my honeycomb with my honey. I have drunk my wine with my milk. And then it says to his friends, but eat, O friends, drink, yes, drink deeply, O beloved ones. So I'll get back to this, but I have to get the whiteboard for this part, so. This is just symbolic of now we're getting into the other things. So, like, let me put this back on 1. Okay, so I'm going to make this as abstract as I can. Okay, so here. Okay. Maybe, well, I'll leave it. Okay. Okay, so you get the idea, right? Okay, so we have wine, milk, honey. Okay, those were the fruits. So, all right. So it's just it's in there. It's just very poetic and veiled and classy, and there's a reason for that. So again, that's what it's talking about. So now, okay, so here, the Shulamite's troubled evening. So the Shulamite, whoops. I sleep, but my heart is awake. It is the voice of my beloved. He knocks, saying, open for me, my sister, my love, my dove, my perfect one. So, for my head is covered with dew, my locks with the drops of the night. So it must have been a moist evening, or maybe even raining. But anyway, he's knocking on the door. And we see that, that's symbolic as well, knocking on the door. All right, now here. So she's saying about this is happening, okay? Then she goes on, I have taken off my robe. How can I put it on again? So she's in bed, she's settled, I have washed my feet. How can I defile them? Their floors were a different story. So, it was a job to just get in bed, I guess. My beloved put his hand by the latch of the door, and my heart yearned for him. I arose to open for my beloved, and my hands dripped with myrrh, my fingers with liquid myrrh on the handles of the lock. So you can just picture her kind of struggling, and it's slippery. She's like, I want that door open. And finally, she gets it open. Here, I opened for my beloved, but my beloved had turned away and had gone. My heart leaped up when he spoke. I sought him, but I could not find him. I called him, but he gave me no answer. The watchmen who went about the city found me. They struck me, they wounded me. The keepers of the walls took my veil away from me. So again, you have to keep all this in mind. There are two things going on here. I mean, you have the deeply spiritual, this just, I mean, there are no words. It's just so highly exalted in a spiritual way that it's just the glories of heaven and beyond. It's that good. Just for your heart to behold and savor these things is just amazing. It's just the treasures of heaven here. But so there's that. And then this is, again, symbolic of spiritual things. So there's that. But then on the other hand, you have the practical. Okay, so I mean, I don't want to say it's an instruction manual, but you do have aspects like that. You have the beauty of these things in a natural way, the way God created them and intended them to be. What's the word? But, He made these things for good. So there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing defiled about that. Okay, so again, the world has messed it up, and people need to get away from that thinking and look at these things through the right eyes and not the eyes of the world that are polluted. And so I just want to mention that again, because I know it's getting intense. I know. Okay, so no, yeah, this part now. This speaks of persecution. I mean, she's running around looking for him, right? And he's not present. He's somewhere else, right? But she's running around the city streets looking for him, and the watchmen found her and struck her and wounded her. So that speaks of persecution of the church. And they took her veil, so keepers of the walls, so they're grabbing her things. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, if you find my beloved, that you tell him I am lovesick. Now, the daughters of Jerusalem, what is your beloved more than another beloved? O fairest among women, what is your beloved more than another beloved, that you so charge us? So, she's been going on about all the wonderful good things and what's the word I'm looking for? Just wonderful traits of the beloved. She's going on about all the wonderful aspects of him and just good things. And so they're like, well, what makes him any better than another? Why is he so special? And what I see in this is how we as the church, we know there's only one way to heaven, only one way, and it's through Jesus. And there's only one God, and there's only one true religion of all, which is this. And that's it. There's no other way. There's no other Savior. There's no other God. There's no other path to heaven. Any of that. It's only him, and he's exclusive in that way, and that's it. It's only by him. He said so himself. So, how people will say, well, how can you say it's only by his one way? And well, what about all these other ways and these other people and these other, religious leaders and so on? And what about them? And, and that's what I see in this. It's just like, nope, that's it. He's the only one, and that's it. So, that's just how it is. So anyway, she goes on, and then she explains all his charms. That's the word I was looking for, his wonderful charms. My beloved is white and ruddy, chief among 10,000. Okay, so don't think race here. This isn't that, okay? I'm probably going to get some comments today. I don't know. Okay, all right. Okay, so his head is like the finest gold. His locks are wavy and black as a raven. So just, she's describing his glamour here, male glamour, okay? Yeah. So she's just going over all these wonderful traits. His eyes are like doves by the rivers of waters washed with milk and fitly set. His cheeks are like a bed of spices, banks of scented herbs. His lips are lilies, dripping liquid myrrh. His hands are rods of gold set with beryl. His body is carved ivory inlaid with sapphires. His legs are pillars of marble set on bases of fine gold. His countenance is like Lebanon, excellent as the cedars. His mouth is most sweet. Yes, he is altogether lovely. This is my beloved, and this is my friend, O daughters of Jerusalem. Okay, so again, they use this kind of language, a lot of jewels and things, so that's just what they did. All right, where has your beloved gone, O fairest among women? Where has your beloved turned aside that we may seek him with you? So that's interesting, right? Well, where is he now? And then some people want to seek and all that. My beloved, so that's the daughters of Jerusalem. Now she answers again. My beloved has gone to his garden, to the beds of spices, to feed his flock in the gardens, and to gather lilies. I am my beloved's, and my beloved is mine. He feeds his flock among the lilies. Okay, now, I don't know, I'm just thinking of how the resurrection was in a garden, and they mistook him for the gardener at first. So, I don't know otherwise, but, you have the idea of harvest. But anyway, okay, so the beloved. So now he goes on and flatters her charms here. So, oh, my love, you are as beautiful as Tirzah, lovely as Jerusalem, awesome as an army with banners. Turn your eyes away from me, for they have overcome me. Your hair is like a flock of goats going down from Gilead. Your teeth are like a flock of sheep which have come up from the washing. Every one bears twins, and none is barren among them. Like a piece of pomegranate are your temples behind the veil. There are 60 queens and 80 concubines, and virgins without number. My dove, my perfect one, is the only one. The only one of her mother, the favorite of the one who bore her. The daughters saw her and called her blessed, the queens and the concubines, and they praised her. So you get this idea of, the common ladies even are all over, but there's only one like you, one who's a true rose among thorns, that kind of idea here. It's just beautiful. I mean, you can't read this and not just swoon. It's so beautiful. Okay, so who is she who looks forth as the morning, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, awesome as an army with banners. And that was him. Now she answers, I went down to the Garden of Nuts to see the verdure of the valley. This is a word for green, verdure. I don't know quite how to pronounce it. To see whether the vine had budded and the pomegranates had bloomed. Before I was even aware, my soul had made me as the chariots of my noble people, the beloved and his friends. Return, return, O Shulamite, return, return, that we may look upon you. What would you see in the Shulamite? As it were, the dance of the two camps. So, sort of like, an artistic dance by many people at once is what I'm seeing here. Okay, now the beloved. How beautiful are your feet in sandals, O prince's daughter. Okay, already I have to say, there are many places in the Bible where it talks about how beautiful are the feet of those, I think it said on the hills or something, who bring the good news, the gospel of peace, and even in Ephesians 6, it talks about our feet are shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. I mean, this all comes together like your feet are beautiful in the sandals because you're bringing the gospel, the church, like that's the symbolism that I'm just seeing all this. And then, O prince's daughter is a reference to royalty. We have a princess, not just a bride, but a princess. So all these things are in here. The curves of your thighs are like jewels, the work of the hands of a skillful workman. Your navel is a rounded goblet. It lacks no blended beverage. Your waist is a heap of wheat set about with lilies. Okay, the rest is kind of obvious, but this is sort of, you have to picture the wheat grows in the field, and then they would grab a bunch of it and tie it together and just put a string around it. And so it would be kind of, I guess I have to draw this. It's this idea. And then it was tied with something to hold it in place. So this was wheat, they would gather it. But you have this idea, here it's tied, of a waist, It's just that kind of language. It's just symbolic that way. Okay. Yeah, so that's what this is. It's not like this big pile or something with that waist heap. Okay, here we go again. Okay, your two breasts are like two fawns, twins of a gazelle. Your neck is like an ivory tower, your eyes like the pools in Heshbon, by the gate of Bath Rabim. Your nose is like the tower of Lebanon, which looks toward Damascus. So I don't know what kind of noses they like there, but that's just what it says. Your head crowns you like Mount Carmel, and the hair of your head is like purple. A king is held captive by your tresses. Okay, so purple, of course, was royalty would use purple. That's been the case for a long time, but that, I know her hair wasn't purple, right? But it's just another flattery here. This thing Tresses are like, you know, if you have long, thick hair, and let's say you make a braid, and there would be three tresses. It's just like a bunch of hair together. And sometimes if it's somewhat curly, you'll get a curl, just a lock of a curl, that those hairs just kind of bunch together. And if it's just wavy, it's just parts like that, like those are tresses. So a king is held captive by your tresses, like it's just so long and thick that all these hair tresses would hang down, and like he could get lost in them. That's the idea there. So, how fair and how pleasant you are, O love, with your delights. This stature of yours is like a palm tree, and your breasts like its clusters. So I don't know, was this coconuts? Was this some other thing? I know a lot about palm trees, but I don't know what it's talking about. I said, I will go up to the palm tree. I will take hold of its branches. Let now your breasts be like clusters of the vine, the fragrance of your breath like apples, and the roof of your mouth like the best wine. So we have, this again symbolized here. So, it's always just different fruits that are being used to symbolize those areas, and different things that are edible, milk, wine, honey, whatever, that kind of thing. Okay, now, so that was him. Now here is she. She is again. The wine goes down smoothly for my beloved, moving gently the lips of sleepers. I am my beloved's, and his desire is toward me. Okay, so 9. Okay, it doesn't say anything interesting about this, so I don't know. All right. All right, come, my beloved. Let us go forth to the field. Let us lodge in the villages. And see, we're almost done. This is the last one. I know it's a little, it'll just be a little longer and we'll be done if you're eager to, move on with life. Okay, verse 12. Let us get up early to the vineyards. Let us see if the vine has budded, whether the grape blossoms are open and the pomegranates are in bloom. There I will give you my love. The mandrakes give off a fragrance, and at our gates are pleasant fruits, all manner new and old, which I have laid up for you, my beloved. And mandrakes, from what I recall, were used as an aphrodisiac. So if you don't know what that word means, you're going to have to look that up. Okay, so look up mandrakes too, uses of mandrakes. I don't know if pomegranates were like that way, but anyway, 8. Oh, that you were like my brother who nursed at my mother's breasts. If I should find you outside, I would kiss you, and, I would not be despised. I would lead you and bring you into the house of my mother, she who used to instruct me. I would cause you to drink of spiced wine, of the juice of my pomegranate. Now she's talking to them. His left hand is under my head, and his right hand embraces me. I charge you, O daughters of Jerusalem, do not stir up nor awaken love until it pleases. Okay, now, who is, so this is a relative. I don't know. Who is this coming up from the wilderness, leaning upon her beloved? So, okay, that comes up again. I awakened you under the apple tree. There your mother brought you forth. There she who bore you brought you forth. Now she's talking to him again. Set me as a seal upon your heart, as a seal upon your arm. For love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. This is so true. Its flames are flames of fire, a most vehement flame. So I definitely see like martyrdom in there. Many waters cannot quench love, nor can the floods drown it. If a man would give for love all the wealth of his house, it would be utterly despised. So true. So what do you see in that? There's nothing you can, they can give you that I would be willing to exchange, right? This is worth more. It's more precious than anything. And it doesn't matter what else you lose, like it says, um, you know, it's what good is it if you gain all the world and lose your soul, you know, better the other way around. And so, or when the time comes with the mark of the beast, right? All that is despised, like it says, for love is as strong as death, jealousy as cruel as the grave. There's nothing more valuable. So that's what I see in here. It's true, but I see it in here. Okay, now this is kind of funny here. We have a little sister. So the Shulamite's brothers are talking. We have a little sister, and she has no breasts. What shall we do for our sister in the day when she is spoken for? If she is a wall, we will build upon her a battlement of silver, and if she is a door, we will enclose her with boards of cedar. So I don't know why that, but anyway. Now she's talking again. I am a wall, and my breasts like towers. Then I became in the eyes as one who found peace. Some versions have favor. Okay, I mean, you gotta laugh a little, right? Okay, now, Solomon had a vineyard at Baal Hamon. He leased the vineyard to keepers. Everyone was to bring for its fruit 1,000 silver coins. So again, this vineyard and keepers, and leased it to someone. It's just interesting. To Solomon, my own vineyard is before me. You, O Solomon, may have 1,000, and those who tend its fruit 200. All right, the beloved. So that's him. You who dwell in the gardens, the companions listen for your voice. Let me hear it. So again, we have this, let me hear your voice, And the Shulamite is her again. Make haste, my beloved, and be like a gazelle or a young stag on the mountains of spices. This is always like a call for him to come, to return, get back over here, Now, back here, I was going to say, is that place where, let's see now. She's there, or they're watching, and I should have talked about it then, but it's like, it looks like the place where he returns and the bride is with him, and then there's the army as well. They're all returning together. Well, it is that, anyway, it's the same thing, but it's the place where it says he's there and she's leaning on him, that one. And so And it's talking about coming over mountains like a gazelle. Uh, that's like the return, you know, and that's how it is. He returns with his bride, and the armies are included in this. So that's what happens at the return. So that's like symbolic of that. Let me still try to find it. I might find it. I mean, here. It could be this, but there was another one. There were several of them. Anyway, I don't remember how many came up, so I thought I'll talk about it then. Anyway, it's in there and I read it, so that's what it's referring to. So okay. Anyway, that is it pretty much for this one. And like I said, you just have to look at it through the lens of what I was saying, the spiritual aspect of this. So that's what it's really about symbolically, and it's just beautiful, and it's sort of hidden. It's veiled, it's not obvious. It's veiled in very poetic language, and then there are other aspects to it, like I said. So, uh, so yeah, if people need an instruction manual on their honeymoon, there you go. And that's it. So that is it for the Song of Solomon. And it's, as I said, full of symbolism. And many people don't know, but that's it. There it is. So that's it. Tomorrow I'll be back and I'll do the book of Esther. And after that, it's into the history. So we are moving along. And I know if you're like tuning in for the first time, this is probably a strange one for you, but I just go over what's there. So that's it. Okay, well, have a blessed rest of your day, and I'll be back tomorrow.